All right, man. So what's up, everybody? So we got Josh here. He's joining us, giving us some insight today on the Leafs 2-1 win over the Habs. Leafs are now up 2-1 in their series, and we just kind of wanted to give, again, like we've said with this platform, we want to just give Leafs fans an opportunity to hop on, just have some discussion after the game, give their thoughts. Luckily tonight we got a huge win, so we'll let Josh kind of take it away, give us his thoughts on the game, and then we'll have some back and forth. So go for it.
Yeah, so like watching that game, like game two that came out was like such intensity, and you could tell it was really sort of a winner for each thing. Games you could tell both sort of in the game and kind of was like, let's see what the other team does first, and then we'll sort of amplify our play based on that. And then just as the game went on, like Carey Price stole the first period for the Habs. Like we could have been up 3-0, and I just don't think we really sustained much afterward because it was like, we're going to go down there and Price is going to just like stop us. And like, just other than the first line, like the second through fourth line, we're being shuffled constantly. Like on the second line, I couldn't tell if it was like Nylander playing center or it's like Kerfoot jumping up to play center, like who like had to do what. And it was just like get out of there with that 2-1 lead and just like do whatever you can to keep it.
Yeah, I think one of the problems I guess that kind of ended up happening was Nash just didn't seem to like work, and so they seemed to throw lines 2 to 4 through the blender at points. And yeah, I think that I did get confused at points. I'm like, who's skating with who? I mean, is
Kerfoot was center at one point in the game? He was centering Kerfoot and Nylander at one point.
I know. Like, I know we all joked around about like plays dying on Engel's stick and Mikheyev's stick, but it's like you watch Nash and like the puck goes over his stick. Like a non-bouncing puck just like bounces over his stick somehow, and you're like, this guy is like a black hole. Like he can't create offense.
Yeah. I mean, he's billed as a no event guy, but he's no event everywhere on the ice, right? Like,
yeah, seriously. And it's like against Montreal, like how like no event guy like do you really need, right?
Exactly. So what I guess off of that point, what do you guys think? So if Foligno can't go tomorrow, and we've kind of established Nash as probably the best option, who do you bring in?
I think my biggest thing right now is like if Foligno can't go tomorrow, then is this an injury that's going to keep him out Thursday too? Because like the playoffs is like you play if you can, and if you're injured for a couple days, right? But I say bring Brooks in like for Nash, like why not? But I don't know, because like lines 2 through 4 had no chemistry. That was the biggest thing I took from that, was like I saw no chemistry there. And it was kind of like dump it down the ice and go for it, and then let's see what we come up with.
I feel like Mikheyev, Engvall, and Kerfoot were really, really effective today, though. I feel like they didn't generate too many scoring chances, but they were able to like gain the zone very often. They were able to keep the puck in, and then Wayne Simmons also had like a great game. There was that one stretch of like 2 minutes and 20 seconds where he was just all over the offensive zone, in the Habs zone, just pressure. But I think you're right. There wasn't a consistent lines 2 to 4. Like you don't know who you're getting. It's like go out there, see if you guys can maintain some offensive pressure, and then we'll try the next one. Let's see who works.
Go ahead.
I just saw these broken lines all the time. Like you would see like Mikheyev and Kerfoot out there with Simmons for a little bit, and I was like, is someone supposed to be changing here right now? And it looked like a lot of like missed role assignments, like people just being like, I'm not sure where I'm going or like what I'm doing right now. But like, yeah, the third line did have good chemistry for sure. They kind of always have. But anyways, go on, man.
No, what I was going to say is the other guy that I would kind of want to take out, they won't, would be Thornton. Like, he's not. I mean, I love the guy, but it's also a back-to-back. Like, if he didn't have his legs in the first game of this, how is he going to have anything for the second, right? And like,
just because you said that he's going to score a hat trick tomorrow.
That's how it works, right?
I mean, then I would trash this team all day, all the way through 16 wins. Like, I'll do it, but like, that's the other guy that I would consider, pulling out and playing a little bit.
You could see it. You could see at the end of his shifts there. Like, even if he like burst it for a good 30 seconds. And you watch the play go the other way, you could see he was dogging it to the bench.
Yeah.
So you're like, like, what's that really doing? Like, when you got, I don't know, like, if Thornton, beyond being Joe Thornton, is here, if Tavares and Foligno come back. And, like, the next, like, I know, like, Foligno should be back this week. And Tavares is still up in the air, but it's like, does Thornton really like stay in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna keep him in just as like a unwritten agreement where it's like you're not gonna scratch the NHL legend Joe Thornton.
Yeah,
but
but
like, another thing with Joe is like, you know how when you see youngsters, it's like an odd man rush the other way, and like the vet always pushes the youngster with his stick. There was one play, I don't know if you guys noticed, he ended up pushing Spezza. Spezza was the youngster he was trying to push to give him some speed.
I think I remember
every
that.
Odd man rush, you would see him go, and Joe would look at the bench and say, "Go, go, go! I'm gonna jump onto the bench," because he didn't want to tail it back because he can't anymore.
And that's not even a huge thing on Joe, right? Like he can only do what his body is capable of doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think the thing is for our coaching staff, so I've got two thoughts on this. I think either Joe needs to pull a Travis Dermott and say the team is better off when I'm not on it, and so maybe I need to bench myself for a couple games and give myself a break, or Keefe just needs to have a conversation with him. I know it's a legend, but at the same time, like we're trying to win a cup here, right? Like, and he that's his goal. He came here because he wants to win a cup. So I think that the big thing is like we need to make sure that we're not just like unwritten coding ourselves out of the playoffs because we want to play Joe Thornton. So I think
I don't think we're losing games because of Joe Thornton. If he becomes a liability to that extent, then yeah, you should have that conversation. It's just until he becomes the reason you lose a game or the reason they got like 2 goals against, 3 goals against, I don't think that conversation's ever going to happen just because it's Jumbo. Anybody else, maybe, but just because it's Jumbo, I don't think that conversation occurs.
And like without looking too far ahead, like let's say we win and we go and play like Winnipeg. Like if you guys like remember, like he was going after Ehlers like intensely in the Winnipeg series. So I just like think Joe at bare minimum knows how to conserve energy and how to utilize energy and just sort of know when to turn it on and off. Like Simmons did this year. You're like, is he gonna be the odd one out? And then game 1 of the playoffs, it's like this guy is like policing the ice. He's like going into everybody's ear, being like, don't touch this guy. And we played like 10 minutes tonight, and I literally, it's the most jam-packed, entertaining 10 minutes I've watched. It's like,
did you guys see that tweet where it was like after the second period ended, he went, talked to Weber, talked to Edmondson, and then waited for Sherratt to come out of the penalty box and talk to him.
Like he's policing the game.
And speaking of that, what did you guys think of that scrum where again we got yet another Austin Matthews smiling GIF?
I ain't doing shit.
I love that. Like that one's gonna live on for quite some time. But what do you guys think of that? I mean, what do you guys think of this team that finally seems to feel like they're not afraid to mix it back up in those scrums, even if they come out smiling like jackasses?
They understand playoff hockey now. It's like you can't take this shit no more. They've been there the last 3 years, bounced in the first round. They know that, you know what, if you go after one of my players, I'm coming in, I'm gonna fight. Even if that leads to a penalty or it doesn't, that's playoff hockey. You got to show them, even if you're going to lose that fight, I'm not going to back down. Keep hitting me. I'm just going to smile, walk away, and you're going to take a roughing penalty, which has happened 2 times against Matthews now, and I love it.
Yeah. With Matthews specifically, too, is like he's not a guy I'm worried about defending his own battle. So I've watched him hit. I've watched him go after guys. So if he wants to smile in someone's face like a maniac, by all means, man, because he'll come back and hit you. Like if it was like Mitch Marner, like how Alex Kerfoot gets pushed around, you're kind of like, okay, man, like stand up for yourself. But Matthews is like smiling in the faces of Weber, who is like just like steam coming out of his ears. Like, do something, man. I want you to react. Like, show that you care. And he's just like, whatever. And it's such mind like no.
I love it though. The mind games are great. It has. I have noticed though. Brody seems a little bit more pissy these days, which I love. Like he just seems like a little in front of the net. He just seems a little bit more pissy. Maybe he has a closer relationship with Campbell, but he gets pissy a lot with the guys.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that all season too.
What was that, Josh?
I that's what I've been waiting for all season too. That's always sort of like my unwritten rule with hockey is like you just never let anyone get in the path of your goalie when you're there. It's like just box them out, and then if they like even try to touch your goalie after the whistle, you just go for it. Like that's my 2 unwritten rules. And I was like, I know we will do it come playoff time, but I want to see it ramping up to it. And Brody has taken that to another level. Him and Muzzin especially.
Yeah, I mean Muzzin's always been like the protector kind of, but
Muzzin was chatting with Toffoli after the game because Toffoli was like smacking sticks around. And you could tell Muzzin was like
smacked one stick around, then like stick lifted and threw another stick at, I think it was Muzzin, and Muzzin grabbed his stick and then just followed him and started talking in his ear like, don't do that shit.
Yeah. And Toffoli looked like a little baby doing that. It's like, come on.
Most of the Habs, like, I mean, I haven't watched the post game yet, but I was telling these guys I fully expect Anderson to be like, yeah, we were the better team, but you know, they only won because they scored more goals than us. But
yeah, and Josh Anderson is such a weird thing because if the announcer didn't try to talk about him so much, I noticed him for like 5 minutes a game. I see one big hit, one like two on one rush, and then it's like, oh, where's Anderson? Like he just kind of floats around the play a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, I don't. The Habs have been a lot more hype. I mean, Cole Caulfield has been interesting to watch, but like, there's a lot more hype to them than. I mean, they are the juggernauts of the regular season or whatever.
I know, right?
Do you guys want? Do you want to go through what you guys think for the next game, or what's thoughts here? Oh, well, what do you think of the goalie situation? Like, what's
for tomorrow night?
Yeah, for tomorrow night, Josh.
I think you got to match whatever Montreal does. So if Montreal wants to go back to Price, then let Campbell have the goalie battle, that little mental battle. But if they want to switch it up, go to Jake Allen, then just go to Freddie Anderson.
Interesting.
And just sort of match their sort of mental mind game they want to play.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think a lot of people have been thinking, like, assuming Price is going to go. But if Montreal decides to go with Allen, then I think that gives us an opportunity to go with Freddie, right?
Yeah.
It's been a while since Allen's played too, so I don't know. It's tough.
Man. It's just because
in this game, right? Like
it's because like Jake Allen during the season. Yeah, it's like Jake Allen during the season. He's actually stole some games for the Habs. This season, I'm not talking about Freddie in general. This season, I can't remember a game where Freddie stole it for us. So even though they might be resting Price for Thursday night, it's just like, man, you take that 3-1 lead. You just got to win one out of the next 3 games, and Jack Campbell is your number one option to get you there.
You just tell Jack Campbell that you're gonna buy him a new puppy or something, and like, or he's a cat guy, right? Like, we're gonna get you a new cat. Like, just we need you to ride this out, all right?
If the boys can play a solid defensive game, like they played through 2 periods, and play that way for 3. I think you can go with Jack because you were giving up like 6 shots a period, nothing too dangerous. But if you're gonna play like you played in that 3rd period tonight, then I'd be worried about Jack because like, and that kind of happens sometimes on back-to-backs, right? Because you don't have as much energy and there's a lot more back and forth. So I'm a little bit worried about him in that sense. I just think that to me it's such a challenging situation because you want to win this game so bad, but also if Jack gets hurt and he has a history of injuries, like knock on wood. Like, if anything were to happen to him, dude, I don't even know what we're supposed to do this postseason. So it's a strange situation, and I know everybody's got their thoughts on it, but I think that's a pretty good thought, Josh. So with that being said, though, what are your predictions for tomorrow? And then we'll take your 3 stars for tonight and let you kind of do your thing.
All right. Bold prediction for tomorrow. I think 4-2 win for us. And I think if Carey Price is in net tomorrow, we get like 3 goals in the first period, and we just like pepper him. And then 3 stars for tonight. One's got to be Jack Campbell because that onslaught of shots he took in the 3rd period. It, like, if any of those go in, I don't think we're going into overtime feeling confident. Yeah. That's a completely different storyline.
Yeah.
2, I I don't want to say the obvious math. You say Nylander. Like, Nylander has really played a game, playing in a lot of different positions right now, and sort of just like play second fiddle on the power play and like to everything Marner does. And then thirdly, let's go with the veterans on our decor. Let's go with Muzzin, Bogo, and Brody. Those guys have been stellar all 3 games, and those guys have really ramped it up. And I think like them just on the ice, it's just such a calming presence, just knowing they're there. Like when I see them on the ice, I'm like, okay, thank God. We'll probably like go the other way, or like we'll neutralize this attack somehow.
Bogosian's been the best $1 million like ever spent, right? I mean,
yeah, seriously.
I'm gonna eat my fucking words here. When he was signed, I'm like, Kyle, what the fuck are you doing? And then game 1, I'm like, see, I told you he was shit. Then the next 55 games, I'm like,
he's been like everything you can ask of. Like, and then like, fuck, I love the guy.
And then there's one thing I want to touch on with what Josh said, where Nylander playing second fiddle. I thought it was kind of poetic, where there's that one shift where I think Marner got the puck. It was wide open, and he didn't shoot. And I think I tweeted out, just shoot the fucking puck. The Nylander comes on, takes it, and just grabs him. Just, you know what? I'm just going to shoot on net. Shoots and scores. I'm like, that's all you got to do. Like,
it's that simple in the playoffs.
All you got to do.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, Montreal was beating us at that, where we were trying to be too cute, and Montreal was just throwing it on net and hoping for the best. Sometimes that works out, though, because you got bodies flying to the net a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we need to do a better job of, or the coaching staff needs to kind of drill into these guys. There's like 4 guys on our team that shoot the puck every chance they get. It's Nylander, Matthews, Spezza, and maybe sometimes Muzzin. Like I think Muzzin shoots the puck quite a bit off the back end, and then but I think everybody else is always looking past first. Sandin kind of takes some shots too on the power play, but even him, like I think a lot of the guys, both on the power play and even 5-on-5, a lot of our guys are looking to make cute plays. There's that 5-on-2 that we like overpass into the corner. There's so many times during this game where like just shoot the puck, and I think that the shot clock kind of made us not pay as much attention to that as we maybe should have, because Montreal had 14 shots through 2 periods. But the reality was we were getting shots, but it just felt like there's so many opportunities where we overpassed. And that's something that I kind of want the coaching staff to iron out of our game, is shoot the puck when you can and have different people shoot the puck. I think Nylander showed today that he is built for the playoffs. He is such a special player and does everything you need him to do. And I'm glad that Keefe rewarded him for it. So hopefully he keeps doing that moving forward, and Nylander keeps getting more ice time. And I think Elliot Friedman said it in the second intermission, like he needs to be on that first power play unit, because he's just been.
Yeah, he made Ron McLean eat his words there a little bit or whatever, when he was like, Elliot was just saying play Nylander more, and he goes out and does that.
So
I think everybody wants at this point Nylander to get. We need another shooting threat, so we just need someone on that first line that will shoot. Just because a lot of these guys came up in trade talks, that Edmonton game is going really well right now.
Is it? What's the score in that right now?
It's 2-1 Winnipeg after one. Man, that was you know what I mean. We have Josh here while we're at. We were gonna at least spend a few minutes on this. It was 4-1.
Yeah,
it was 4-1. I said it on Twitter today. We broke the curse, man. Like we literally just like took that off our back and gave it to Edmonton to wear.
Pass the torch on. Like you're the shit show now.
Yeah, seriously. It's like all the narratives go to you now. Like seriously, take it.
You know, it's funny. Like people were like going off. I saw one guy going off. He's like, "No, the Leafs one was worse. It was in Game 7." I'm like, "Yeah, at least we got to a Game 7 against a team that made us cup run." Like you're doing
seriously.
Jets that.
Winnipeg might not even make it out of the North Division, let alone Boston was the Stanley Cup favorite each time. It's like, it's just like people never want to give it to the Leafs. It's always like Leafs fans battling each other for like this moral superiority, and then other fans attacking us. And it's like, no, we gotta band together to let other fan bases know that, like, no, you guys can't just jump in like that.
I think this is, if Edmonton gets swept tonight, I think this is 100 times worse, because you had an easy route back into the series if you bring it to 2-1 yesterday, and then you blow that and you get swept. I think that we weren't even supposed to make the playoffs. They were supposed to like threaten us for the North Division. So it's infinitely more embarrassing. We're going to get into it in a couple of minutes, but I just thought we'd thank Josh for hopping on with us and giving us his thoughts on the game. I kind of agree with everything you said. Agree with your predictions. I think we're going to win pretty comfortably tomorrow and go up 3-1 and wrap it up at home. So all of this whole narrative of, oh, Montreal's going to have fans back in the game for Game 6.
They technically had fans today. They had 250 fans in the arena today.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
In private boxes, apparently. So they're trying to sneak something in right away, because they're like, nah, this is the only way to make this work. And I was like, well, I'm pissy now that Toronto can't do this shit. Like,
no kidding.
Just give all the tickets to all the doctors and nurses. I don't give a shit. Just fill the first, all the frontline workers. Just put them all in. I give it to them for free. I don't give a shit. Just feel
That's
better.
the thing, yeah. Like, just let them go. Let somebody go for like just anything. Like, just give us like a progress, even if it's like you said, 250 in boxes. Like, just let them go there.
Go, yeah.
Winnipeg wearing the Budweiser costume, waving a towel. I'd take that, man. Like, just
Yeah, seriously.
Take that all day.
Put me in a costume, fam. I'll go.
Yeah, no kidding.
all right.
All right, this was a pleasure having you, Josh. We'll continue banter on Twitter as well, but it was great, man.
Wonderful. Thanks, guys. Good luck, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hey, sounds good, buddy.
Go Leafs, go.
Leafs go.